Today, there's virtually no limit to the information we can store on compact discs. Millions of bits of data representing words, numbers, music, graphics, or even video can be stored on the discs. Let's take a spin through a CD factory. Compact discs are copies made from an original glass master disc. A thin plate of glass is first placed in this unit, which brushes the surface clean. Cleaning is done with deionized water and a small goat hair brush. The excess water is eliminated by the rapid rotation of the disc. The disc then goes into the surface analyzer, where a laser beam inspects the cleanliness of the surface. At this stage, two chemicals are applied, a primer and a photoresistant coating. This operation is done at a temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit and lasts 3 minutes. The disc is carefully retrieved from the apparatus. Then the photoresistant coating dries in an oven for 30 minutes. This developer has two spouts. One applies a deionized water, and the other sprays a solution to develop the data etched on the glass. The information is now engraved on the disc. Then the disc is placed in this metal coating equipment. The next step consists of applying a thin coating of nickel and vanadium. This electroforming process results in the master from which discs will be made. The etched glass is immersed in a chemical solution for 70 minutes. Then the plated piece is removed, thus obtaining a die. The die is sent off for finishing. It is stamped out into the desired shape. The excess material is recycled. Next, the compact discs will be fabricated from this master unit. Here we clearly see the stamping out technique. The master is taken out. A technician peels off the film, which protected the data etched onto the die. After a visual inspection, the die is sent to the pressing department. It comes out as a small, hard, translucent disc. It is now ready to be metal coated, so it can be read by a compact disc reader. A robotic arm lifts the disc from the mold and places it on these supports. Protecting the surface of the disc is essential, so a coat of varnish is applied. This also helps silk screening stick to the surface. Ultraviolet lamps quickly dry the varnish. Once the silk screening is completed, the finished discs leave for packaging.
You're here today. Then, like me, you have a curious, explorer mind. You're looking for something more, for something deeper. Well, so was I for a while. A long while. I looked in so many places. Went for so many walks. One day, on one of those walks, I saw a flower that only blooms at night. And of course, the moths go crazy for those flowers. Like a midnight feast. And I thought to myself, it could be anything. It all clicked in that moment. It could be anything. Those 3 words, it could be anything. everything that you see. And of course, that includes discs. Now, I know we've all moved on from discs, but let me make my case. If you listen to me for just this moment, I could reveal to you that not only is there beauty to be found in discs, but there are forces at play that are actively trying to stop us from seeing that beauty, because their existence relies on us being blind to the beauty that already exists. And so here today, I'm going to explain to you what makes a disc beautiful.
Sorry, I'm wearing a very cumbersome outfit, so I'm gonna have to. Sorry about that. Did you all enjoy the opening video? Yeah? I feel like that was very informative, you know, like that's what we came here for, right? To learn. That's why we're here. Yeah, a lot of you pulled up. A lot of you pulled up, that's good, because I'm gonna talk a lot tonight. Tonight, no, it's 12:30. I'm usually not even awake at this hour. Let me take these out of my pockets because they're hurting me. By the way, Michael Phelps' Connect game. Who knew that existed? Not me, not until last week. All right, well, if you're here today, then like me, you have a soaring explorer spirit. You're curious about things. So am I. In fact, I'm so curious that one question has been haunting me for 4 decades. I don't know why there's laughs there. But what makes a disc beautiful? Only one person can answer that. That's me. This is me when I was very young. Born in 1976. I'm a world record holder. If you Google Planet 51 speedrun and you click on the button that says Xbox 360, there's one name there and it's mine. So I'm many things. I'm explorer, I'm adventure, I'm thinker, I'm historian, I'm idea. And I have a mind for exploring curious adventures. I traveled the globe, finding discs. It's making me smile. It's just, I just love thinking about them. I'm decorated with the games that I've found in my travels. And each one of these games, I mean, granted, they are all the same game, but, you know, each one of these games I have a record in. My mind is curious and adventurous. I would not be here without the help from the friend from beyond. I'm gonna talk about that later. More on that later. As I traveled the world, I began to notice we're starting to forget about discs. They're losing their way because of streaming. Yeah. And downloads. We're literally losing information by engaging in those practices. So I decided to do something about it. I founded the CD/DVD Preservation Society. I founded it in 2005, and this is serious. I don't know why people are laughing. I founded it in 2005 in algebra class, and my goal was to scour every disc possible to find the beauty in those discs. More and more they're replaced with downloads and streams, and let's just be real. This is an audience that's kind of on my side here because y'all booed it, but streaming is evil. Downloads are evil. Uploading is a different presentation. And there's 3 big players. Sorry about that. It's a gust of wind flew through the room. There's 3 big players that are pushing this agenda. Sony, Nintendo, yeah, no discs there. That's not a disc. That's not a disc thing. Yeah. And Bill Gates. What you might not be thinking of is there used to be a fourth big player here, the Ouya. However, they've been defeated. And you might not know, but the Ouya was defeated thanks to the Ouya theory, which I will talk about. We'll come back to that later. However, I've gone on and on about my credentials. However, there might be some people in the audience or people watching at home who still doubt my credentials. So I have something that I do because I'm a public speaker. I go around conventions doing different presentations all the time. And one thing that I have to do is constantly prove that I know what I'm talking about. So there is something that I do called the naming of the discs. So I have a member of the Preservation Society who will come up right now and has 4 discs. I don't know. I don't know what those discs are. And so he will show me the disc, but with the label facing away from me. The only thing I will see is my own reflection on the bottom of the disc. And I will correctly name the disc. I will do that 4 times, just to prove my credentials. I know what I'm talking about. All right, do you want to use the mic and say hello? Press the button.
Hi.
Yeah, that's good.
What many of you may not know is that when we put information on disk, that doesn't come from the computer. Those are our memories. It's human memories in physical form preserved forever, which is why the preservation of these disks is so important. And what many of you may not know is that it also means that ESP via the disk, you don't need a computer to be able to read from the disk. You can use your mind's eye, which we will demonstrate now. I have gathered 4 disks. We've never met before, so he really will not.
That's not true.
know.
I don't know why he's saying that.
All right, let's begin.
Okay, let us proceed. You might want to show the audience what the disc is, and then I'll guess it.
Well, no.
Okay.
Here's disc number 1, and I'll let you read the data, but not the cover.
Okay. That is Planet 51.
Oh, that's absolutely correct. It is Planet 51 for the Wii. Okay, our next disc. Okay, here we go. Read deep. Every last bit.
That is
Mind's eye.
Planet 51.
Oh, come on. That's still correct. It is Planet 51 for the PlayStation 3. This one's in a different format.
That's Planet 51.
No, come on. That's still correct. It's Planet 51 for the Xbox 360. Final disc.
I'm going to say the format this time. I hope I get it right. That is Planet 51 on DVD.
That's correct. That's amazing. Love that. You know, I tried to do a curveball there, and by having all of them be the same thing, but you saw right through it, because if you can train your eyes correctly, you can and are able to see the information on discs with your naked eye. That's what we've proven here today.
And that's a beautiful message. Thank you to my society member right here. Thank you for the help. So, hopefully, you understand now that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to discs. Now that I've proven my credentials, we can get on with the main question of this presentation. What makes a disc beautiful? To know what makes a disc beautiful, we have to know what discs are. We know how they're made. We saw that at the top of the presentation. However, we need to know what they are. So I have the distinct pleasure of announcing to you that for the next hour, could I get the original 1 hour back on the timer right there? No? Okay, they're saying no. For the next 30 minutes, I will be going over every single disc that exists. We might have to go a little bit fast for some of these. I think we should start off with everyone's favorite. This is Planet 51 on Xbox 360. It's a game that comes from Spain. It has Xbox achievements. Does anyone know what Xbox 360 achievements are? For those of you who don't know, Xbox 360 achievements bridge the gap between the time that you spend on a game and the sense of personal satisfaction that you feel. It is a direct, tangible reward for spending your time on a game. I love them. This game has The Rock in it. Actually, it doesn't. My bad. They removed his voice lines from the game. Someone else voices him. I don't know who it is. We're gonna skip now. Torque. Torque by Ubisoft was Ubisoft's response to Banjo-Tooie Pterodactyl Land. Didn't go well. Didn't sell well. In fact, I don't know if anyone here has played it. Oh, one. Oh, okay. Do you work for Ubisoft? Okay. That's probably yes. Yeah, so Torque was released in 2005, right after the craze around prehistoric platformer games was dying down in favor of World War II as a theme. And there were major issues with the game at launch. Silent protagonist, that was scaring kids. Kids didn't like that. They thought that Torque was using his silence to manipulate the characters in the story. He was weaponizing his silence, creating situations where things were vague enough that Torque could retain power and make everyone else question their own thoughts. Not a smart move for a kid's game, let me say that. So Torque didn't do very well. However, there was one game that did very well. Aragorn. Got a lot of Aragorn fans in here. Yeah, based off of the movie, which takes place in the Lord of the Rings universe. You can't really tell from the characters, but that is Aragorn with his 3 Hobbit friends. And this game is very rare. However, I have worked very hard to secure gameplay footage to show you all today. So this is going to be a bit of a exclusive here. I don't know if it's ever been shown before. I have the distinct pleasure of showing you the first public showing of Aragorn footage. So let's take a look. Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry. So it seems to be an issue. Oh, there we go. All right. Just enjoy this. very difficult game. This part's very hard to do. Okay, and here's the reward. Not yet. Look, there it is. It's coming up. And then when he picks it up, then he'll get a nice reward. Oh, what? What? Sorry, no, sorry. This is a different video, my bad. Sorry. Wait, okay. Sorry about that. That was a different... I think I'm slowly realizing something that's wrong with my slides, but we're gonna move on. Medal of Honor. That is a game that you can only play on disc. You can't download that anywhere. It's based off of a war that's over, so they can't sell it anymore. Many issues with the game. I was talking to someone who is a developer at DICE, and they were telling me yesterday they thought that they were making a game about shooting soda cans off of fence posts, and EA misled them into making a game about killing people. So that is really messed up. They weren't happy about that. So nobody really touches this game anymore. That's why you can only play it on disc. Let's see, wrong slide. Sorry. I think I'm realizing now that my slides are combining like a bunch of different presentations that I made. So there might be some weird stuff in here. I'm not sure what that is. I'm sorry about that. Weird game right here. Featuring Half-Life 2, Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and introducing Portal PlayStation 3. I don't know why they didn't just give it a name. That's a really weird way to name your game. Also, not about two men racing to jump down a hole. I thought that the cover was really misleading, but I don't know. Not a great choice there, but you can only play that on disc. Same thing with this one. Sadly, I can't talk about this because this is a 13+ panel, and the game is 16+, so I can't talk about it. But you could look at it. I apologize for that. Meet the Robinsons. Wow, a lot of you are clapping for this. This is a very rare game. It was pulled off of shelves. Do you know why? Because it was pulled off of shelves, both the movie and the game. It was actually Stuttering Craig who got it pulled off of shelves because he noticed that the Screw Attack logo was on that guy's shirt. And he said, "Nah, you can't do this." So he shut it down. So it's a very rare game. It's very hard to find. No, sorry. Classics. Classics, I don't want to talk about this game. So I'm not going to talk about it. Zoo Cube on GameCube. Who would have figured? Zoo Cube on GameCube? They thought hard about that one. Okay, this is a game that's only available on disc. You can't even play it on PlayStation 2. It's only on GameCube. Weird story about this game. That's an actual picture that they took for the cover. They were so excited to go develop the game that they left the monkey in the desert. So it was not. That's a bit of a problematic game right there. But also not about building a zoo. Why would you make a zoo game when it's not about building a zoo? It's a very confusing thing. Oh. So that's a, sorry. Sorry, that's a different presentation, my bad. Sorry. Very rare, Yoshi's Story. Does anyone like that game? N64, an N64 classic. N64 classic, there's a rare disc version of that game. It has a bit of a different story. Set 5 years after Yoshi's Island, the game focuses on 2 playable characters in a post-apocalyptic United States whose lives intertwine. Yoshi, who sets out for revenge after suffering tragedy, and Baby Mario, a soldier who becomes involved in a conflict between his militia and a religious cult. I'm realizing I might have swapped stuff. The Last of Us Part 2. Living together in harmony at Joel's island, Joel and Ellie are able to maintain a perpetual state of joy through the fruit-bearing super happy tree. However, Abby becomes envious of this happiness and casts a spell to transform the entire island into a pop-up storybook. In addition, Abby also steals the super happy tree, further weakening Joel and Ellie and making them fall to gloom. I'll have to look over those slides later. I don't know what's what. The Mouse Police on PlayStation. Sorry about the typo. That's PlayStation 2, not PlayStation 3. This is actually Neil Druckmann's first game. The game follows 2 mice, Joel and Eddie, as they look for the culprits of a cheese truck robbery. Neil Druckmann has said that he's gone on record saying that this game's story is heavily influenced by his upbringing and the experiences that he saw growing up. It's a pretty controversial game, but HBO is going to make a series out of it. Yeah. I wonder how they're going to tackle the game both sidesing something that's very clearly one-sided. Here's some gameplay of the Mouse Police, in case you're curious. Let's just take a look here. It's speeding up now. Moving on, this is The Rock's first game. He's gone on record saying he didn't agree to be in the game, but, you know, this is a very rare game too. I even haven't had the chance to play it. I haven't found footage of it at all, but the cover is pretty interesting. the time is going by fast, so we're gonna have to speed run these couple ones here. So let's just say, sorry, Clumsy Shumsy. Clumsy Shumsy. We could take a look at some quick gameplay here for Clumsy Shumsy.
Okay.
All right, there's 8 games in that game, which is wild. That was only one of them. So I only got footage of one of them. I couldn't find any of the other ones. Hope maybe someone's selling it on the show floor. I'll have to go check later. Let's go outside of the box a little bit. There's games on disc. There's also movies on disc. There's movies about games, games about movies. Let's mix it up a little bit here. We got Old Dogs. Sorry the text is so, basically my presentation has fallen apart. The background's gone, the text is really small. That's okay. This was going to be a game, but John Travolta said no because he was afraid of what Jack Thompson said about GTA. He was like, we can't make this a game, we have to make this a movie. So he was the one who turned this from a game to a movie. However, you could see a gorilla on the cover. That is a nod to Donkey Kong. So that's kind of calling back to the movie's video game roots. It's very interesting. Here's what the cover would look like if it was a painting. It was pretty cool. All right. Movies and games collide and click. It is a movie about the first video game controller. It's actually very interesting. The plot is actually incredibly uplifting. Let me summarize and okay. A lot of that text is gone. Apparently, sorry about that. I actually have a clip just in case my slides were malfunctioning. I had a clip saved up that will summarize the plot of Click perfectly. So let's take a look.
Hey, Dad. Sorry to bug you. Would you mind looking at my...
Sorry, that was supposed to be much longer. Sorry about that. Let's go through here quick. Alien Kick. I heard people's reactions in the opening video. That was probably to this game. Let's take a look at the footage of the game.
Welcome to Socpens. Get ready to kick.
This is one of my favorite games. So, all right, we're gonna go fast here. Well, Call of Duty, Jesse Pinkman's guitar. This doesn't exist, but it would be nice. All right. All of my backgrounds are going away. I don't know why my slides are malfunctioning or something. Let's bring it back to the central question of what makes a disc beautiful. We went over every single disc ever just now. That was all of them? Yeah. However, I don't think we're ready to answer this question yet. We know what a disk contains material-wise from the opening. We know how they're made. We know what can be on a disk, but we don't know what a disk consists of. Who is a disk? Because if I were to ask you, who are you, you wouldn't say, I'm a skeleton with bones and skin. You would say, I am, insert name here. You would say who you are. We want to know who these disks are. What is within them? What is their spirit? So I think that is the route that we should take to answer this question. Now, I want you to follow closely and have an open mind about the following slides. So, disks are more than data. Disks are imbued with something real, something amazing, something meaningful. I've had multiple encounters with angels in video games. Yep. And I have assembled irrefutable evidence. To see what makes a disk beautiful, we must see if a disk has a soul. Ice Age 2 on GameCube, only playable on disc. If you're having a hard time spotting the spirit, how about now? Yep. Yep. That's not it though. That was the first sighting. Torque on Xbox. Can you see them? How about now? Now, I've been using circles to guide your vision. However, the next one doesn't even need any circles. Just use your eyes. How can we see things like this and not think this is someone's design? This is someone's design.
I love you, son.
Oh, what? Sorry, no.
I love you, son. I love you, son.
Sorry. That was left over from a different presentation, my bad. This one, I don't even need to circle them. You could see the streaks of the ghosts right there. Developers try to hide it, but didn't do a good job. Bomberman Live, the Bomberman live. The people who have passed away playing Bomberman reappear as spirits and apparitions. They live, it's in the title, they live. However, there's one spotting that changed my life. Cars 2 on Xbox 360. When I spotted this was fairly recent. Something changed within me. I have such distinct memories of who I was before Cars on Xbox 360. I was scared. I was afraid. Thoughts were looping endlessly. I could hear all of them. I was shaking. You know that feeling where everything is pins and needles, like you can't feel your extremities? That's what I felt after seeing this. And of course, I grew up, surrounded by religion and stuff, so I thought I'm in a moment of crisis. I'm gonna go to an institution, to a church, just to get some help. And they did not help me. They did not help me. Cars 2 on Xbox 360 told me of a place called Carcosa. And do you know what the staff at the church did? They kicked me out. Who does that? So, today is my moment. Today, I speak the truth. The truth about digital distribution. I've connected every single angel apparition and every institution that turned me away. It's all connected. The big three that I mentioned at the top of the hour, they're involved. Not his name. It all began with Jack. You laugh, but this is true. It all began with Jack. Let me tell you a story. In the late 1980s, digital distribution was being tested as a concept. I know that seems pretty far back. The film Jack was going to be the first film devised to be digital only. That was their plan. Major film distributors had devised a plan that when they had all their little fingers in, they were all Universal and Fox and all of them, they all had this little plan that would give the consumer as few rights as possible while maximizing their profit, eliminating manufacturing costs and establishing an even larger amount of control over the rights of the consumer. This plan was the implementation of digital distribution. A system where they could charge the exact same amount as a physical copy, but for a digital one, while avoiding the manufacturing costs, increasing their profit margin. Not only that, but when you buy a digital game, you're buying the license to play it. You don't actually own it. This plan in particular was being developed and pitched in a massive boardroom at Universal Films. After the idea was presented, everyone applauded. The boardroom went crazy. This was going to change their business model forever. Everyone except one man. And that one man knew something was up. In fact, I can feel the energy of that one man in this room right now. And of course, that one man's name was John F. Kennedy. And we all know what happened to him. So, he was hurt badly as a result of voicing his opinion against digital distribution. He was hurt pretty badly. The plan went into effect seamlessly after that because he wasn't there to oppose it, leading to the society that we live in today, where you need to thumb through 10 different corporate-owned streaming services to purchase the right to watch a simple movie, or even yet, the right to play a game. And you will never own that game, tangibly or legally, if you go that route. The rise of Microsoft Game Pass is nothing short of demonic. It is a terrifying concept drawn up by sad, torn-up people on their last legs. However, we have a man on the inside. Meet Matthew McConaughey. You may know him from films like The Prince of Wall Street, Wolf of Wall Street, and Joe Dirt. What you don't know is me and him go way back. And he, like me, can see through this tangled web of lies that massive corporate entities like Microsoft, led by none other than Bill Gates, and pushes upon us gamers in an attempt to get us to own as little as possible while paying as much as possible. Game Pass is a gateway to something way more sinister. One night, Matthew sat me down and taught me something that I'll never forget. He took a napkin and he drew this. Oh, sorry, that's not. Sorry about that. That was a different presentation slide. I was floored when I saw this. Surprise, surprise. The world will be using souls instead of V-Bucks and Microsoft points and other currencies. It starts with Game Pass and it ends with you being milked for every spiritual cent you have. Welcome to the Donkey Factory, everyone. My heart sank into my chest when he drew this. I was terrified. And then I learned what it really meant. Here we are, celebrating things like Oblivion being remastered as we sit in our stinky little gamer chairs paying $100 a month for Game Pass just for the ability to launch a video game that we lose access to as soon as we stop paying. I don't think we should stand for this. After meeting with Matthew McConaughey, I couldn't sleep. My mind was spinning with endless possibility. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was too great of an uphill battle. What am I supposed to do to take on Bill Gates? Okay? Every thought felt like a sonar pulse emanating from my head, and yet fate would play its mysterious hand once more and remind me why surrender is so important. As I lay there sleeplessly, I hear a tiny pebble hit my bedroom window. I go, oh, I wonder who that is. I got up to see who it was. It was Roger Ebert. What he told me next was simply incredible. I bear witness. What makes a disc beautiful? After all this searching, I finally realized the answer is simple. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. The important part isn't what it is. It's the surrender that we employ given the opportunity to even search for it. To affirm the truth, beauty, and goodness of a disc despite one's personal issues with it. Despite the potentially low quality of the disc. Despite the bugs, the poor writing, the graphics, we must continue believing in the divine that is within that disc, believing in the beauty. This brings us back to the very beginning. Remember when I mentioned the Ouya theory? There might be hope after all. The Ouya, previously a part of the big three names that I keep mentioning, has pretty much evaporated from power. That was me who did that. The Ouya theory was born from one simple idea. The Ouya could not play discs, as you could see. This plan was concocted even before I knew the sick truth of the world. I knew something had to be done to stop things before they got bad. So, me and members of the Preservation Society destroyed the Ouya's reputation by starting a trend on YouTube of people recording themselves peeing on the Ouya. We then infected every single Ouya console with a virus that changed download speeds to be even slower than they were before. Without disks, the Ouya relied on downloads, which we pinpointed as its weakest area. Overnight, the console vanished. So maybe we can choose to see that as a glimmer of hope. Although the threat posed by digital distribution and the evil intent of the big three loom large in all of our lives, that it seems to be every waking moment their grasp not only on our money but on our souls tightens ever so slightly. It remains true that the stars shine brighter in the absence of light. That is it. That has been what makes a disc beautiful. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you all showing up. That concludes the presentation. I hope to see you all again in the near future. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And remember to keep an eye out for discs, because it could be anything. Thank you.